This is KGW News at noon.
And welcome to the news at noon. Boy, what a difference a few hours makes. This is what our Wells Fargo Skycam looked like earlier today. The fog so thick you could not see a thing. But now at noon, the fog has lifted and we have sunny skies. Let's start things off with meteorologist Rod Hill. So Rod, how's the rest of the day looking?
Pretty nice. One little caveat, and I'm going to show you radar in a moment because we continue to see some rain shower activity in the area. But most of us will stay dry now with the fog lifting in most areas. We still have some fog pockets around if you look down in Yamhill County. But here's downtown Portland, some clouds behind the West Hills, but partly cloudy skies and a nice warm up, 49 degrees after being in the 30s when we had that dense fog that Brenda showed us. We're on track to get up to about 58, so that'll be really pleasant. Winds are light out there. I mentioned we've had some showers. These have been rotating early this morning, Mount St. Helens, Longview, Kelso area. Now we have a little bit of light rain falling up around Astoria. Here's the Astoria column camera with the overcast skies. It is 50 degrees. And it is spring break, of course. Oregon folks perhaps doing some boarding and skiing. It's been mostly flurries up at Timberline that really haven't accumulated to anything, but certainly a variety around the state. Brenda, Portland, I think we'll enjoy sunshine the rest of the day. Back to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rod. The longtime CEO of Starbucks told senators today that his company hasn't broken any labor laws and is willing to bargain with union workers. Howard Schultz testified in front of a committee for 2 hours today. Hundreds of stores, including several in Portland, have voted to unionize. Senator Bernie Sanders says Starbucks is violating labor law by firing labor organizers and illegally closing unionized stores.
Workers have a right to join a union. In hundreds of shops that you control, workers have voted to join a union. There is zero union contracts. What I am not only asking you, I am urging you, is do not only the right thing, do what is legal. Sit down. Now, you've said you're prepared to sit down face to face. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Do it. Sit down in the next 2 weeks, come back to us and tell us the success that you've had in finally negotiating a first contract.
Schultz argued that Starbucks already provides good wages and benefits and doesn't need a union.
So we've created close to 5 million jobs. 5 million jobs. Just think about how many families have benefited from Starbucks. The majority of those partners have participated in an equity plan unprecedented in American business. 14% of their base pay is how we started. In addition to that, 99% of the 350,000 who work for Starbucks want a direct relationship with the company.
Schultz led Starbucks for many years and returned as interim CEO last April, just stepping down last week. The current CEO also believes Starbucks function better without unions.
There will come a time to ask how a person could do this. There will come a time to discuss and debate policy. But this is not a time for hate or rage. That will not resolve or heal.
That's the governor of Tennessee reacting to the deadly school shooting in Nashville. He says it's not the right time to debate solutions to stop gun violence, but many others feel differently. Democrats on Capitol Hill want more gun control, but that is unlikely to happen in this divided Congress. In the meantime, Nashville is grieving, and there's a public memorial today. Here's NBC's Jay Gray.
Well, the Covenant School just behind us, still locked down at this point. Police and federal agents on campus and continuing to gather evidence, trying to piece together exactly how and why all of this happened. We know that investigators continue to go through through what they say are volumes of written material, part of a manifesto that was left behind by the suspect in this case. They've interviewed the suspect's family, and they continue to work through, again, the pieces of what may have led to the attack here, that while this community continues to try and find a way to move forward. We know that they have continued to gather at the school grounds here, hundreds leaving stuffed animals, balloons, cards, many of them in tears, many stopping and bowing their heads or kneeling in a moment of silence for the victims here. And there will be a city-wide memorial later today here in Nashville. Thousands expected to be at that, and it should be a very emotional evening. That is the latest right now from here in Nashville. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
Two Portland families are mourning the loss of two high schoolers killed in a triple homicide over the weekend. Eskender Tamra is on the right-hand side of your screen. He was a junior at Franklin High. Isaac Dowdy is on the left. He was a former Franklin student who went to Roosevelt this year. 20-year-old Patrick Johnson Jr. was the third person killed. Police say they were shot in the middle of the day as they sat in a car near a park on North Foss Avenue. So far, there's no indication that anyone has been arrested. Oregon lawmakers are trying to take action on gun control now that Measure 114 is tied up in court. Voters approved that measure back in November. It bans the sale of high-capacity magazines and creates a system of permits and background checks to buy a gun. But with Measure 114 on hold and in court, lawmakers have introduced Senate Bill 348. It incorporates part of 114 and adds even more regulations. You need to be 21 to buy a gun. It delays the permit requirement until July of next year, but raises permit fees from $65 to $150. It requires a gun safety course and allows more time for background checks and waiting periods for gun transfers. State Senator Kim Thatcher and other critics say this bill could circumvent the legal challenges to Measure 114.
Constitutionality of the provisions of this measure have been challenged and are being challenged, and yet this bill will short-circuit that process.
The Oregon Alliance for Gun Safety argues the bill would create a safer system of permits and background checks, giving police more money and structure to make it work. In Olympia, a bill is moving forward to ban guns considered assault weapons. A Senate committee passed it yesterday afternoon. Julie Calhoun has more on the legislation and one survivor's fight for gun reform.
It doesn't have to be this way.
Emily Cantrell, a survivor of the Las Vegas mass shooting, the deadliest in U.S. history, watched yet another mass shooting in America unfold Monday, killing 3 children and 3 adults at a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee.
I used to get extremely sad. There were times where I would curl up in a ball on my couch and just start crying. It's to the point now where I'm angry.
Cantrell turns that anger into action, speaking out and fighting for gun reform for the past 5 years.
I think we've made incredible progress here in Washington.
She's hoping lawmakers in Olympia now sign off on a bill that would ban the sale and manufacturing of guns defined as assault weapons.
They are best served by mass shooters. These are weapons of war. They are meant to kill more people more quickly, and they don't belong in the hands of everyday individuals.
Senate Democrats have been trying to pass a bill like this for 6 years and face Republican pushback each time. In committee debate Tuesday, Nashville shooting at the forefront, with Dems saying a ban in Washington could prevent that from happening here.
We actually had 2 of the weapons that would fall under this definition in that mass shooting.
Republicans disagree.
We had in Nashville a hate crime against Christians. That's what this was.
We have a mental health problem in the U.S., and we need to deal with that problem, not take guns away from legal citizens.
But Cantrell wants to remind people gun violence does not discriminate.
If we keep moving the way we are, I think 99% of Americans will know a victim of gun violence.
And we have breaking news. The Vatican says Pope Francis will be hospitalized for several days with a respiratory infection. The Pope does not have COVID, but the infection will require several days of therapy. The 86-year-old Pope had been suffering from some breathing trouble in recent days. Well, 50 years ago today, the first U.S. combat troops started leaving Vietnam. That was one of the key provisions of the Paris Peace Treaty signed in January of 1973. Ultimately, the treaty, though, did not end the conflict, with full-scale fighting resuming a year later. For the U.S., the Vietnam War was the longest, most unpopular in history, costing more than 58,000 American lives. Today, there's a ceremony at Clark College to mark this anniversary. We'll have more on that story this afternoon on the news at 4.